Hey everyone, it's Finn here with another episode of the NOLAnerdcast here with Brigitte Gautreaux. It's like G.I. Joe, but French. How are you
Exactly.
doing today?
I'm good. How are you?
You know what? I'm doing well. First of all, A, thank you for being here.
Of course.
B, the first question's gotta be, why are you here? Why are you so cool that you're on this silly little show? What is it that you do in this wonderful beleaguered industry of ours?
Yeah. For folks who don't know me, um, I work for Stride PR. So I am in the games industry, but on sort of the back end side of things with PR. I've been doing that work for about 5 years now, going on six. Yeah, just working with a lot of indie developers, a couple of publishers as well. As you know, and this is how we've met, we support the PAX team as well, helping them organize all their shows stateside. Yeah, I know PAX is a big part of how we met and how we continue to connect with each other every year and things like that. But yeah, that's kind of what I'm
I
up
mean,
to.
it does make it fun because you are part of the PAX team, but I will have to say, like, I don't, you might have been part of the PAX team, but when we first met, you were representing a client. I think it was like 505 or something for
Yeah,
the Uden Chronicles game, I want to say.
that's exactly right. That was not my first PAX. It was my first PAX as like an industry person working it, but I
Right.
had actually gone to the last PAX before COVID hit. So East 2020, I was there with my partner. Just like everything seems great, you know?
Everything seemed great until everyone started getting super everyone I distinctly remember that because people I went with, my roommates, were like they showed up and then after one day they were bedridden.
Oh
And we
man.
just thought it was regular old flu. And so we just left them alone and we were like, okay, you guys rest up. We'll see you later. Because everyone just thought it was standard, con plague that you get after a convention. No one questions going to a convention and coming home with a cough, right? Like you're just like,
Yeah.
that's just what happens when you're surrounded by 100,000 sweaty people with questionable hygiene choices. You
No,
just
and I have a funny story about that actually.
hit me.
I before gaming, I was still doing PR. I used to work for Marriott, so I was doing corporate PR for them for their Latin America region. So I went to PAX East with my partner, and I stayed at a Marriott hotel because at the time I got like really good employee discounts and whatnot. And I remember getting back from that trip and seeing on the news that the hotel that I stayed at had an outbreak
Oh,
because
no.
the convention that was there right before PAX was, I think it was like some kind of pharmaceutical convention or like
Sure.
something in the medical field, whatever. And I had to call work at the time, Marriott, because that hotel was on the news and I had to disclose it. I never got sick, thank God. But they were like, we have to talk to Boston's Department of Health and see if we can allow you in the building.
Oh, no.
Um, I never got sick, thankfully, but essentially, I think it was the week after that we all got the go work from home
Yeah.
notice.
I
So
was lucky that I never got sick either, but I just remember how fast everything started shutting down after that
yeah,
PAX. And honestly, while PAX has made like strides, it feels like we're still chasing that pre COVID high of PAX density. But it's still always fun, in which case we're actually going to be seeing each other at the upcoming PAX West.
yeah,
So
I hope so. I think we're still figuring out which shows I'll be headed to. I
they
know.
can't not put you at PAX. Come on.
I mean, yes, but you haven't been to Unplugged, right?
I have not. The timing of Unplugged is always really rough for me for my day job.
Yeah.
So it never pans out. If I have to prioritize, I usually pick East and West.
No, for sure. I have been sent out to Unplugged the last couple of years, so I might be going to that one again this year. But yeah, it's tricky. I think last year it was right before Thanksgiving. I literally flew back home and
Yeah.
had to switch to holiday mode. So yeah, it's a little bit of a tricky time. But if you ever get the chance to go, highly recommend it. It's a totally different vibe than the regular PAXs, but in a good way. It's
Oh
good
yeah.
community.
I have lots of friends that
So
go. I just don't get to, because it's mostly the board games and the card games. It's unplugged because it's not video games,
Yeah.
so to speak. Yeah. And so my first question for you then, based on who you are and why you're awesome, is how did you go from Marriott to Stride?
Ooh, that's an interesting question. So there is a journey that led to that even before I was working at Marriott. So prior to that, I used to work in healthcare for a long time in the insurance side of things. Very boring. But that is where I met my partner. But I remember getting onto like Twitter in high school and getting to that era where like you start to disassociate from the people you went to school with and you're like, I don't really care about following you guys for the rest of life, you know. So um I like shifted into just following like gaming related accounts, so like devs, publishers, like your IGNs, your GameSpots, all of that, kind of just to keep up with things really. um and I think at the time, like stuff like the Game Awards was still like super new. I think it was like their first or second year around that time. So I kind of got fascinated with just like keeping up with what was going on. And I felt that Twitter at the time, before it's what it is now, was a really good way to do that. So over the years, I kind of just weirdly built up a following. I won't say that it was like a big amount of folks or anything like that, but I found myself like interacting a lot with like games journalists and just folks in and around the industry, but also people who were just like enthusiasts of gaming, you know what I mean? But I never really paid any attention to it. It just felt like natural conversations you have with folks online of like, hey, you like that game? Sweet, I liked that too. Um, but I remember leaving healthcare because I was so bored. um, and I found the job at Marriott. And of course, COVID happened, and hospitality, like every other industry, was hit really hard. Nobody was traveling, hotels were closed, things like that. So um, I actually got a DM from somebody that I had been mutuals with on Twitter for a while, who's already working at Stride at the time. And they were like, hey, are you looking for a job? And I was like, no, but tell me more. And at the time, I wasn't really sure from a PR perspective how transferable those skills were from like one industry to another. Because I think that there's some things that are like similar, but it's just completely different industries. You know what I mean?
Yes.
And gaming for me was just something I had always been personally interested in. But I mean, again, I was coming from healthcare and hospitality, but they were like, yeah, like go for it. And I actually applied to Stride a few different times, so I didn't get hired right away. And just for different needs at the time, like I know there was one instance where they really needed a Japanese speaker. I speak Spanish, not Japanese, so that didn't work out. But
They're like the same language. Come on.
yeah,
You
you
could have
know,
you could have made that work.
exactly. So yeah, from that DM, which I will always be grateful for, I kind of got on their radar and interviewed with them a couple times, and I ended up getting hired in 2021, September of 2021. Um, and yeah, I don't know. I like to think that Twitter was a big part of that, because I think if I hadn't gone in the direction of just showing more interest in the industry and just connecting with people online, I think it would have been much harder for me to kind
Oh,
of
you're
step in, if you
yeah, you're
will.
100% right. And I miss when Twitter could be that networking for people without everything else that Twitter became. It
Exactly.
used to just be a very simple spot where that's where everyone went, especially in the video game industry. And doing PR and marketing, like that's the social channel most people default to. And
Yes,
so even if you wanted to jump off of it work wise, you can't.
exactly. Like I still have it, in the sense I have the account, and should I need to, if DMing is like the only way I can contact somebody, like that's fine. But ever since the shift in that ownership, I've locked my account. It's private. I don't tweet anymore. It's just It's
It's
better off
work.
that
Yeah.
way.
I mean, that's what it is. That's I mean, because I had like the reverse course you did where I was in gaming and then I shifted to the medical field. And I remember going, are any of these skills going to translate? And I remember in my interview showing them my portfolio and having to explain why what I'm showing them is impressive
Yeah.
because it meant nothing to them. And I was like, it's fine. Just trust me with your medical stuff. It's fine. So
No, 100%.
now that you are Stride certified, um,
I like that.
they've been partnered with ReadPop, the PAX people, for some time. I imagine prior to your time, right?
Yeah. Very, very, very long time.
So, how does Stride operate? Do you get any say in the clients you get attached to, or were you just put onto the PAX team because of a lottery system or something? I don't know. How does Stride work? Because you guys cover so many games and so many clients. I'm just always been curious, like how do they pick who gets what?
Yeah, so it's a very similar structure, I would say, to any agency, really, because the structure almost mimics that of even when I was in healthcare. Um, we each on the management side have like clients assigned to us, and that could be based on a variety of different factors: workload, time zones, skill set, familiarity with certain genres. You know, we might have some folks that on the team that are really well versed in like horror games, whereas I'm better versed in JRPGs or things like that. You know, we try to play to folks' um, strengths and skill set while also being mindful. You know, we have a global team. We have folks that like are based in China. We have folks in Brazil and things like that. So it's kind of a little bit of everything where kind of just looking at the bigger picture and seeing like who might be a good fit. Um, in terms of the PAX team, I'm definitely a later addition. I know you're familiar with Carter and Veronica. They've been on the PAX team for a really long time, and we each kind of handle different portions of it. So yeah, I wouldn't say it was a lottery win per se, but you know, I got asked if I wanted to be part of it, and I said, hell yeah, why not?
And he said, yeah. Now, has there ever been a game that came to Stride and you were like, damn it, I wish that had been my client? Did you ever have client
Ooh,
FOMO?
did I ever have client FOMO? I wouldn't say, okay, so not necessarily at the beginning. I think it's more when we see certain titles succeed. And obviously, like, that's the whole point of the job, right? Is trying
Yeah.
to make sure that every game succeeds for our clients. But you definitely have certain breakout stars. And I think that um, when you see a lot of coverage or people talking about a specific title, I certainly get the FOMO of like, damn. Like, I'll give you an example. Last year, there was an indie title that came out called And Roger. I don't know if you're familiar with it, but
Vaguely.
yeah, it was something that I didn't work on it. It was a colleague of mine who worked on it, but I'm very in tune to like gaming podcasts and things like that. And I found my ears perking when I would hear people start mentioning this game out of nowhere, like, and Roger, like, have you guys played this? Oh my God, you're going to cry, blah, blah, blah. And it exploded. And I think it got like BAFTA nominations and all kinds of stuff. And it was just really cool to see, even if I wasn't the person that was directly supporting the title, because it was like, damn, like, that's us. You know what I mean? But at the same time, I'm like, I wish it was mine. But you know, we're all a big team at the end of the day,
Of
and support
course.
each other. And but it's really
But that's
cool
not
to
as fun
see
of an
stuff like
answer.
that. Oh no,
It's all
absolutely.
now to flip that. I'm not asking you to pick like your favorite client because that, has implications I'm sure you don't want out there, but like has there ever been a client that you had a lot of fun working with? Like just some good memories attached to it. Could be an old one, could be a current one. Just what's one of your favorite memories or moments in your portfolio?
That's a good question. and reminds me that I've been here a long time.
Right? But that's the thing. Like, you guys don't just handle one title at a time. I see the emails. You
No.
guys are all over.
No, and over the years, it starts to become like a Rolodex in my head of like, oh, I forgot I worked on that. I'm going to say something not because it was the most fun per se, but it probably gave me the I made it moment more than anything else I've experienced. And it was actually when I worked with 505 Games, we worked on
Yeah.
Ghost Runner 2.
Oh.
And if I remember correctly, it was the first title I had my name in the credits. And that
Nice.
was
That's
like,
always special.
yeah, that was a really, really big deal to me because full transparency, like that doesn't always happen. And I know that I'm sure you've seen stories about it with like bigger companies and stuff. And so it's not a given. We don't assume that that's going to happen, and it's fine if it doesn't. But that was the first time, and I was just like, whoa, like, holy shit. You know what I mean? So,
Oh, it's such a cool feeling that first time you see your name scroll by. I remember when it happened to me. Like, you never forget that.
yeah.
It's so that's awesome. And also for you, wow, Ghost Runner 2, what a good first title to have your name. I love the Ghost Runner games. Like, I am so hyped for Valor Mortis because it's the same team.
Yeah.
I love the, and also fun fact, they have a Saki award
Ooh,
for
good for them.
Ghost Runner. Yeah.
Heck
So
yeah.
good times. I credit it to your skill as a PR person that Ghost Runner 2 did so well.
Thank you, thank you. And I love that community as well. I think the folks that are into not just Ghost Runner, but like One More Levels games in general, I feel like it's a very dedicated community, especially on the speed running side. Um,
Yeah.
I know they held like some tournaments and things like that, so that was always interesting to see too.
Yeah, I've always loved how they've adopted different kinds of audiences, right? Even though you usually don't think speed running when you think of first person action games, but then you play and you're like, oh no, this is like designed for speedrunners. I love it.
And then you see stuff like Summer Games Done Quick, and then it's like, oh, we're speed running
Yeah.
that. Okay.
And now we have real people playing it. Yeah. So, um, shifting slightly from your time at Stride and your time in PR, I want to know more about you. Where did you get your start in gaming? Like, what is your origin story? How did you become a fan of the medium to begin with?
Ooh, so I credit pretty much all of that to my older brother. Um, I just have one sibling. I have an older brother, so I'm the youngest, and we're about 7 years apart. Um, First game I ever played was actually GoldenEye for the
Wow.
N64.
What an interesting first choice.
Yes, it was an N64 that my uncle owned, so it wasn't ours, and it's like the only game that he had on there. I'm pretty sure it was not age appropriate whatsoever.
How old were you?
I was probably around 5.
Yeah, I wouldn't say 5 is the right age for it, but you know what? More power to your little 5-year-old hands for using an N64 controller of all
I
things.
know. Can't say I was good at it, but I just have such fond memories of that. And um, my brother was always playing games as long as I could remember, and his favorite game in the whole wide world is Final Fantasy VII. Like, he's the number one reason why I got into Final Fantasy and RPGs and things like that. And a lot of my core gaming memories early on were just watching him play. I don't know if you have siblings or if you've experienced that, but to me, like, he's probably the only person that I can sit down with to this day and like watch him play things and have such a good time. Like, I don't
That's
even like
cool.
watching streams necessarily. You know what I mean?
Right.
Um, but yeah, I have so many core memories of that and just watching him play certain titles. And then as we got older and he got over the whole like you're an annoying little sister, like now we're on the same playing field. It was nice to like play things together. Um, a memory I have of that, for example, is like Breath of the Wild when it first came out. We would watch each other play, and it was so fascinating for him and I to like approach the same shrine and solve them completely differently. And we would just look at each other like, oh, your brain works like that. My brain doesn't work like that. Like kind of just admiring each other's like skill set and appreciation for it. And yeah, I mean, I still text my brother all the time about game stuff. I'm like, oh, I saw you platinumed this, or I see that you're playing that. Like it's 1000% my brother. And I'm not sure that
That's awesome.
it would have been different.
What would you say one of your favorite games is?
I can tell you my favorite game of
Hit
all
me.
time, which is Final Fantasy X.
10, nice.
Yeah.
Just in time for the Switch 2 remaster.
Yes.
Play it again.
I try to
As
play
of
it every couple of years if I can.
and you were rocking a very appropriate shirt based on the kind of game your brother got you into.
Yes, this is my Final Fantasy VII shirt. I do own a Final Fantasy X one as well. Shout out to Uniqlo because they make really good
That they do.
collabs. So
They do. Anytime Uniqlo has a collab, you're like, it's going to be something cool. I like their stuff because it's not just always the standard, here's a box art on a black tee.
yeah,
They usually do
exactly.
some cool stuff. So would you say RPGs is your go-to genre?
I would specify it further and say JRPGs. And the reason I
Yes.
say that is because I have had conversations with folks who are like, oh, like you're into RPGs, like it's so awesome. Do you like The Witcher? Do you like Fallout? And I'm like, no. And
Yeah.
it's no shade at all to those genres. It's just like I'm not into the Western style of play when the RPGs. I think that it comes with certain expectations of like character customization and dialogue choice, and I know that folks really value that. I'm more of the type of like, give me the story and the experience exactly as how you intend folks to experience it, and that's just
Uh,
a preference thing.
no, I'm gonna have to side with you on that. I have found Western RPGs I enjoy, and some I really like, but as a whole, the JRPG genre I greatly prefer because of exactly like you said. Like I want the curated experience that you envisioned. I want to
Yeah,
experience your story. Like it is cool sometimes when I'm playing like Mass Effect or something. I'm like I got to influence the story in a little bit, but like at the same time, I spend more time worrying did I miss something
yeah,
cool. Whereas in my JRPGs, I'm like, as long as I'm doing like the side quests and doing the side content, like I'm not missing anything. I'm not missing out on something. Plus, I just find the stories are a little more they resonate more because they're designed to be told like a movie or a book, not a choose your own adventure. But that's
yeah.
just me.
And I don't mind certain elements of like choose your own in certain titles, but I even get anxiety after the fact of like, did I make the right choice?
Yeah, like did I lock myself out of something because I made this choice uninformed? And I understand that's supposed to be the point, but that's not the way my brain works.
Yeah. No, I'm exactly the same way.
That's awesome. So my favorite is Final Fantasy 6. Just to
Nice.
throw that out there. But yeah, so Final Fantasy 10 is your all-time favorite. What is it about 10? Is it because that was like the first one you bought and owned? Or like what is it about 10 that resonated so much with you?
No, so at the time that even 7 and 10 were coming out of like late 90s, early 2000s, I was not old enough to even purchase my own things. So everything that I played was whatever my brother had bought or had access to. So I don't even think I owned my own console until a PS3 that was like actually mine. So everything before that I had played was through my brother, and I had dabbled in 7 a lot of times because that's what my brother's favorite was. But in a way, I think I somehow didn't comprehend like the game's themes very much, and I never really had time to like sit down and play it from start to finish. So even with Final Fantasy VII, I would say I didn't even fully experience it until I was much older. But when 10 came around, I think I found it easier to digest because of the voice acting. Um, I do believe it was the first Final Fantasy with voice acting,
You
and
would be
that,
correct.
yeah, that made a huge difference for me. So it made the story portion of it easier to understand because I could listen in addition to like reading the
That's
dialogue and
actually a
stuff like
really
that.
good point. That the introduction of voice acting just elevated the storytelling to help you like catch those nuances you might not have caught younger trying to read something
Yeah.
text only. Huh. Okay. So who's your favorite character? Who's your problematic fave?
Not Waka. Who is my favorite Final Fantasy X character? It's probably Lulu. I just think that she served so many roles. She was like an older sister figure, she was a motherly figure. Her design was badass. I love the Black Mage role in general in RPGs. I loved her moveset and everything. So I think she was probably my favorite in that
I
one.
loved her little voodoo dolls.
I know, they're so cute.
That's awesome. Well, okay, so what would you say is a game? Okay, um, how do I want to phrase this? I don't have to think about it too hard. What is a game you're currently enjoying?
Ooh, that's easy. I have been dabbling in Xenoblade Chronicles for the first time.
Interesting. Good choice. Welcome to
Yes.
the family.
So, context. I played 3. That was my very first Xenoblade game. And I played that game strictly out of FOMO because I had no experience with the Xenoblade series before. I just remember that I knew the game was coming out. We saw it in like Nintendo Directs or whatever. And then I remember the Metacritic score dropping and it was like 95 or something.
Yeah.
And I was like,
What the
wait a
hell?
minute. um, and not just from the Metacritic score, but then hearing the conversations around it, I was like, okay, it sounds like I need to play this. And I asked around if it was something I could jump into without having prior knowledge, if it like stood on its own. And a lot of the feedback that I got was that yes, it had ties obviously to the first and second games, but it was, still had its own cast, its own story, its own world, and all that stuff. So I ended up diving in and I fell in love with that game. And I think I'm pretty sure it was my game of the year that year, but I genuinely loved Xenoblade 3 so much. I played a little bit of X, was expecting it to be similar, but it wasn't. I'm not sure why it's a Chronicles game, but I digress. So I fell off of that one, but I told myself, I was like, you know what? Genesis looks amazing, the one that's coming out next year. Um, I'm not playing a lot of new stuff right now, so it's perfect time to just chip away at the backlog and see what I have going. And I've owned that definitive edition for a long time. So yeah, I kicked it off maybe like a week ago, and I'm like 40 hours in now, something like
Nice.
that.
That's a
Yeah.
good clip. Are you enjoying it so far?
Yeah, it's great. I don't know that I would put it above 3 for me personally. And I'd be curious to revisit 3 after now playing like the full series and the DLCs and all that, but it's fantastic.
Yeah.
Very, very good
I
game.
it's I can't even say it's an underrated series because it does very well on Nintendo systems, but I do feel outside of hardcore like RPG fans, I find Xenoblade is still kind of a lesser known entity. So I'm hoping that these new Switch 2 re-releases and Genesis give it more, visibility.
No, I would agree with that. I 100% see what you're saying because if you're like locked into the Nintendo platform, I feel like your bread and butter is Xenoblade, but
Yeah.
I was playing a lot of those type of games on PlayStation for the most part, so I always knew the name, but I was never exposed to it.
Right. That's what I mean. Like it's you sometimes have to pull yourself out of our bubble of people that are terminally online and follow game industries and watch Nintendo Directs. And
Yeah.
if you're just a random person walking into a GameStop looking for a new game, you know, and you don't know what Xenoblade like you'd be much more likely to know what Fire Emblem is at this
Yeah.
point than Xenoblade. So I'm hoping we get to elevate those names to make them more household. I feel the same about the Trail series. I
Yes.
just I just want more people to experience it.
That's
But
gospel. The Trail series is gospel. I found that series completely on accident
So
during
you're a
COVID.
fan?
Yes,
Yes.
yes.
Oh, fantastic. Okay.
I can't get past a PAX without Cam Hawkins finding me and we
Yup.
having a
Your boy
conversation.
Cam, the only person more than me that loves trails.
100%.
And
Yeah.
what I love about it is here's how I tell people it's like the perfect metaphor, I think, or simile or comparison, whatever the word is. Trails fans are like One Piece fans. You will
Interesting.
never find once you're a fan for life, and you have to basically convince new people to experience the longest running like connected story. It's the same thing like trying to get someone to play all the Tales games is like telling someone to start reading or watching One Piece. Like
Yeah.
it's going to be an investment, but you're going to love it, and then you're going to be the fan that's telling the next person they got to play.
No, absolutely. But I would even say that I'm still newer to Tales games in general, but I do think that Trails has more consistency across its games in terms of like if you like one, you're probably gonna like them
Yeah.
all. You know what I mean? But that's another one that I'm so happy to see over the years has just exploded internationally and we're
Yeah.
seeing more people cover it and now it's like on all these platforms and stuff like that. But yeah, I found that franchise completely on accident because I was scrolling through the PlayStation store in like June of 2020 because I'm like, I don't have a job,
I
so
got time.
I got time. And, that's all she wrote.
What was your first one you started with? Was it Trails in the Sky or?
No, it was Cold Steel.
Oh,
Yeah.
see, that's also what I like about the Trail series is they have, even though ideally you start at Trails in the Sky for the start of it, but like Cold Steel is a great jumping on point,
Yeah.
you know, and then you can go back and you don't lose anything of that experience.
No, and I will 100% admit I've played Trails very unconventionally because I have hopped around from arc to arc.
Oh,
But
interesting.
availability had a lot to do with that. So in 2020, the Sky games were only on PC, which I did not own. I didn't have access to PC gaming at all. And the Crossbell games were not localized in the West. Those hadn't been announced until like 2 or 3 years after the
Huh.
fact. So my only access to Trails games at that time was the Cold Steel games. Mind you, 1 and 2 were the only ones that were out. 3 hadn't even come out yet. So that was around
Okay.
the period where I got into it and I finished the whole Cold Steel arc. And then I was like, all right, I got to see what the rest of this is about. But it just so happens that, like, as I was getting more interested in it, Falcom announced like the westernized versions, the English localization versions of like the Azure and Zero. So that was perfect timing. And I played the Sky remake last year, which was fantastic. And I can't wait for second chapter. So
Oh, I'm so excited.
I know.
That's also I'm finding out so much about you. I honestly did not know you were such an RPG head too.
I
That's
am.
fantastic.
I would say that's my bread and butter when it comes to games. Like I play JRPGs probably more than any other
Oh,
genre.
100% same. I would have to say, I don't know if the same is for you, but for me, the one game coming out this year I'm still most excited about is Final Fantasy Resonance.
Ooh. So that's up there for me. It's I hate whoever planned all these release dates because we have certain games coming out on the same
Yep.
exact date.
Oh no.
But despite my love for Trails, despite my love for Final Fantasy, my number one is actually Fire Emblem.
Oh, yep. Yeah. I can't fault you for that.
I am so excited.
That's my wife's favorite. She is not like the world's biggest like gamer,
hmm
but she has found that she loves strategy RPGs. So Fire Emblem Three Houses was her first foray,
Me
and
too.
she got in hard. And she's gone back and played every available Fire Emblem game on the Switch. She's played
Oh,
Final
she's
Fantasy
hardcore.
Tactics. She's played Mario vs. Rabbids. Like, if it's a strategy RPG, she's gonna give it a shot. And then the other flip side of that is she loves her Animal Crossing like Disney Dreamlight Valley,
Pocopia.
Pocopia, exactly. Like,
I
so
love those
those
too.
are those are the two sides of her coin. And then the other thing she'll do is she loves the story based games that I play. Like when I'm not playing an RPG, I'm playing like the kind of Sony first party kind of action adventure games like
Yeah.
Uncharted or God of War. Like she'll love to sit. I'm not allowed to play those without her watching because she doesn't want to miss any story. So that's when
Oh,
I'll switch to an RPG and do some grinding. But yeah, like
I
it's
love
fun
that.
because you mentioned like watching your brother play. So that's she loves to just sit and be playing like some game on her Switch and just experiencing the story while I do something. And then Fire Emblem is like her jam. So that's her big upcoming game. I've already got it ordered for her. It comes out on her birthday, which is
Oh,
perfect.
that's amazing.
Oh, never mind. I just saw it got moved.
What got
Or
moved?
maybe I just always thought it was her birthday. She's getting it for her birthday. Whatever. There we go.
Yeah, it was pretty much the same journey for me. I had played Three Houses, had no experience with strategy games before. I loved it so much. I played every route. Um, I have not gone back to older Fire Emblem games. I played the new one that had come after that. I think it was called Engage. I didn't care for it. But I do have Final Fantasy Tactics in my backlog. If she hasn't played Unicorn Overlord by the Vanillaware folks,
I have. I don't think she has yet. I love it.
it's fantastic.
It
I
really
played it
is.
last year for the first time, and I was like, oh, this is good. I think she
It
would
was.
probably like that one
I
also.
honestly think she would because it's right up her alley, and I like the more RTS aspect of it, and then
Yeah,
crafting a team that complements each other. There's so much depth to that game. I really enjoyed Unicorn Overlord. Here's hoping we get a sequel or they get to make some other thing because
I hope
Vanillaware
so
games are always
too.
so fun.
Yeah, I hope so
Hang
too.
on, now I gotta look it up. What is Vanillaware working on?
They did a 13 Sentinels before that, which is
They
also a
did, yeah, which
fantastic
is
game.
also fantastic. Oh, that's right. They're making Muramasa Revenant Blades is their next
Oh,
one.
right. Isn't that a remake or
I think
something?
it's a remake because I had Muramasa on the Vita.
Oh, okay, that makes sense.
Was it Vita? I know it was on the Wii, but I could have sworn I had it on a handheld. Now I gotta.
Do some digging.
Muramasa is the Vita game. It was on Vita. Yeah, that's how I played it. It was also on the Wii, but I played it on the Vita because Vita means life. And why not? But yeah, Revenant Blades is coming out. So I guess that's
Nice.
their new one. There we go. It is a remake. Okay. An expanded remake, so they say. So there's going to be more to it.
I wouldn't
But
mind
it's
checking
not
that
Unicorn Overlord 2, so who cares, right?
out. You know,
Now, even outside of gaming, what is it that brings Bridget joy? Like what in your life do you do or experience or like what do you do to make yourself happy? It could be anything really. This is an open-ended question.
that is a good one. I will preface this by saying I am very
Nothing
much
brings me joy.
no, it does. I'm very much a homebody and an introvert, despite what you might see at conventions. I know how to turn on the battery, and it turns right off when I get home. I find a lot of joy in little things, especially stuff I have in common with my partner. So, just to give you like a tiny example, something that we love is coffee. Like, we're big
Mm,
coffee fans. We like going to different roasteries and like seeing where beans are sourced from and trying different brews and things like that. We have a couple of local places here in South Florida that we venture to every couple of weekends and come home with like fresh bags of coffee beans and things like that. And I'm not going to call myself like a connoisseur or whatever, but just it's something that we both enjoy so much. And I love learning about like where different coffee comes from, having like my preferences of certain places over time of like, oh, I love coffee from this place or I love coffee from this country. Because for the longest time, me growing up, it was always like Colombia. Colombia's got the best coffee. Colombia's got the best coffee. I would say Ethiopia has the best coffee, hands down.
interesting.
Um,
I was always told that the best part of waking up is Folgers in your cup, but you know, what do I know?
Oh my goodness. Yeah, I just little things like that. Going to the coffee shops. He's big into vinyls, so we also like going to like record stores and things like that. I find a lot of joy in like little adventures like that. I'm not much of a big like, oh, let's go to this amusement park and ride on all these roller coasters that I'm terrified of and I would never do anyway. And and I love K-pop. That's probably the other big part of my life that's not gaming related. Is I'm a huge
Nice.
K-pop fan. I go to concerts as much as I possibly can. Um, I do have to travel for them often because Florida's concert scene is not great for the genre, but it is what it is.
So when Cam's not talking to you about trails, he's talking to you about K-pop.
Yep.
Has he sucked you into the Kingdom Hearts black hole yet?
He didn't have to because I also grew up on Kingdom Hearts. Granted, I don't have the knowledge that Cam has. I played 1 and I played
Nobody
2.
does.
I played 3, but I didn't finish it, and everything else is just. But I'm excited for Kingdom Hearts 4. I'll
Yeah.
play the shit out of that.
Yeah, give me new Kingdom Hearts. I won't even pretend to understand what's happening, but I'll think it's cool.
I loved Kingdom Hearts 2. It's probably one of my most replayed games from like start to finish.
Interesting.
Yeah.
So where in Florida are you? I think we've talked about this because I'm in St. Pete.
Okay, so you're on the other side. You're on the West Coast.
Yeah.
So I'm on the east side. I'm in a suburb like literally between Fort Lauderdale and Miami. So
Okay.
both are kind of equidistant,
Yeah,
about
yeah.
30 minutes, but I'm inland. So it's like 30 minutes to the ocean. And in either direction I can get to each city in about 30 minutes without traffic, but there's always
Okay.
traffic.
I have a vague idea. My knowledge of Florida is still limited because I'm from New Orleans.
Mm,
So Florida is just a giant expanse of land. And
yep.
drive anytime I need to drive home, and because we can't fly for whatever reason, Florida is awful to drive through.
It
Oh
sure is.
man. It's just it's an 11-hour drive from St. Petersburg to New Orleans, and 8.5 of those hours is just Florida.
Yep.
Going up, and then the never ending panhandle, which is nothing but just trees. You don't even have anything visually interesting to look at. Come
I
on, Florida.
just,
Step your
I
game up.
literally just came back from St. Augustine.
Okay.
I was there last week. So from my place is 4.5 hours, and I wanted to die. And it's not because I haven't done those. Like I used to be a Disney pass holder. I've done those car rides many times, but it is the most boring experience. And my partner's family lives in Georgia, right? And we were actually talking about going down there for the holidays. And I'm like, yeah, I got to start tracking flights or whatever. And he's like, we could always drive. I'm like, no. And
No,
it's
please no.
strictly because of the Florida portion. Because as soon as you cross into Georgia, you're in Georgia. Everything looks different.
Yeah,
But the Florida
100%.
portion, I'm like, I can't do it.
I-4 is a never ending black hole of traffic. Well, it's fine. I actually have several trade shows every year that take me down to Miami.
Oh, nice.
I
Should
had no
definitely let
idea.
me
There's
know when
so
you're
many more
around here.
people in Florida than I ever really think of, but turns out you be here. I don't know.
I thought you were in northern Florida for some reason. I don't know why I thought maybe like Jacksonville or something.
No, I don't know. That's weird.
Yeah.
St. Pete. I was briefly in Tampa, which is 30 minutes away from St. Pete, but who knows?
Yeah, if
So,
you're ever in Miami, please let me know because it's just a drive with a little bit of traffic. It's not a big deal.
yeah, it's happily. Now, what in your day job of Stride Life are you currently working on? Are you able to talk about current clients, like hype them up or anything? What is on
Um,
your docket?
I can talk about some titles that I'm working on just because, the info's out there. I would say the
Yeah,
biggest
don't
one.
spoil anything. Don't get yourself in trouble. But like, what are ones that we already know about?
The biggest one for sure is Halloween. Um,
Yeah, that might be a big one.
that might be a big one. Halloween the game, not just Halloween, Halloween the game. Um, I don't know if you heard about the Guinness World Record thing at PAX.
I did, where they had all the cosplayers show up at the same time. That was, I remember walking out and being like, "The hell is this?"
Yeah, it was probably the coolest thing that I've seen, and I think there was like a picture in one of the local Boston like outlets and stuff. Somebody took like a really good picture of it. I'm like, that is insane, and I love that. Yeah, Halloween is the big one for sure. I'm trying to think. A big thing right now with me personally is a lot of my projects are not coming out anytime soon. Um, Within the next year and a half. So it kind of depends. Halloween's definitely right around the corner. I do want to hype up something that I helped launch earlier this
Please
year.
hype it up.
Um, Perfect Tide Station to Station.
Such
Yes.
a good game.
Yes. I first of all, the client Meredith Grand, she's very active on like Blue Sky and socials and stuff like that. She's just genuinely a super awesome person to work with. Um, I've seen some of her. She's done a couple dev interviews as well on like MinMax and stuff like that, and so she's talked about her journey through game development and stuff, and she's just a fantastic person to work with. But I highly recommend Perfect Tide Station to Station. You don't have to have played the first Perfect Tides. You can go back and do that if you want to, but Station to Station is just a fantastic game, especially if you have any nostalgia for the early 2000s and sort of that era, because it sort of serves as like a memoir style game for Meredith and her time like in college and stuff like that. But
I'll
yeah.
have to actually corroborate you, because it is a very good game to play even if you've never played the original, because I didn't even know there was an original when I played it. I thought it was just the name of a game. It was just Perfect Tides, Station to Station. So you're saying there's another Perfect Tides game?
Yes, there is a like literally just Perfect Tides, and that's the first one. So it's still the same character. It's still Mara, but it's a couple years before Station to Station, if I remember correctly. Um, but the dev was adamant on like you don't have to have played the first one to enjoy Station to Station. But
That's awesome. I had
yeah,
no idea.
we found that a lot of people after finishing Station to Station were more intrigued to actually go back and check the first one out. So it kind of worked out the other way around.
That's so cool.
Yeah.
Huh. Yeah, good. Yeah, please hype stuff like that up. That's what I love. Is so do you find that happens often for you, that even after the game launches and they cease to be a quote unquote client, that you still are invested in some capacity? Is it kind of like it's part of your family now, and you want it to see it continue to grow even in your absence?
Yeah, I mean, you definitely grow attached to games and projects and things like that. And it's a little different when you work with publishers because it's more of a long term relationship. So you're kind of always working on several things with them. But I find with a lot of smaller teams, especially like the team behind Station to Station is a small team. It's just Meredith and a handful of other devs, and I've also worked with solo devs as well. It's like it's hard not to root for them. You know what I mean? And
Yeah.
even if the game's not mine, I'll give you an example. A colleague of mine is working on a title called Agent 64. I don't know if you've heard of it, but it's essentially like GoldenEye.
Yeah. It's the golden eye, like, but not the
Yes,
heavily inspired by type. Yeah, I think it's really cool that we've gotten to the point that we're getting so many like N64 esque
100%.
games.
Yeah, 100%. And I have been seeing that game kind of run its course on socials and getting picked up by media and things like that. And it goes back to like it's not my client, but I'm like hell yeah. And I always have an ear for because I do listen to a ton of podcasts, just like kind of funny, all this other stuff. And I do find that I'm always listening for any of our games, not just mine, but like any Stride games. I'm always have like an ear perked, And as soon as I hear something, I'm like in the company Slack, like, hey, this is in here.
That's cool.
Yeah.
I mean, again, stuff like that is fun. It's just, so what would you I already asked you what one of your favorite moments is. What would you say was one of the biggest challenges you had to overcome for a client? Does that make sense?
Yeah. It's interesting because I think
Like not so much a problematic client. I don't want you to
no,
like
no, no,
trash
no,
talk anybody. Yeah, okay.
no. I didn't see it that way. I think kind of looking at the not just the industry at large right now, but the media landscape in gaming has changed so much. Even from
Yes.
when I started 5 years ago to now, it's completely different. And I would say that across any client, I think that's still the biggest challenge to this day is that not only was it difficult trying to vie for different people's attention because there's so many thousands of games released every single day, especially on Steam, but now when that pool of people has dwindled so significantly, it's hard.
Yeah. It
It's
is.
hard. And on the other side of it, like I've talked to media folks who are genuinely interested in XYZ title or it's 100% their jam, but they don't have the bandwidth, or they have, they're being dictated by the outlet they work for of like that's not going to get us the clicks, like we need guides, we need this. So I would say just the way the media landscape has changed so much, and I'm sure it's affected other aspects of journalism as well. But it's rough out there, and obviously, like we've seen the layoffs, we've seen all of that, and it's frustrating,
Oh
definitely.
yeah. And like, yeah, I try not to get too far in the weeds on that because there's already so many people talking about that and it's so depressing and so constant. Like it's always on the back of my mind, but I like to try and have these talks be about what makes us happy
Yeah,
because it's so hard to sometimes remember that this hobby is supposed to be fun. Even if you work in it, like it's
yeah,
supposed to be fun. Where video games, it's not like you're no longer selling insurance or doing PR for or marketing for Marriott, right? Like it's supposed to be more fun.
yeah.
And it gets harder every day with all this news. Like it's rough.
No, but
So,
I agree with you, and I don't blame anyone for being jaded. Like it's hard not
right.
to be,
It's
but
hard not
I
to.
I actively try not to be because I don't want the joy of the thing that I care so much about to just disappear. You know what I mean? Like,
And there's so much at risk of disappearing all the time.
yeah. I
But
mean, I know for a fact, even if I didn't work in games, like nothing would change the fact that like gaming is my main hobby, and that's gonna be that way for ever. My partner's a big gamer as well. Like we spend a
ooh,
lot of
what's their favorites?
ooh, he is like polar opposite to me, both in platform and genre. So
Okay.
I'll tell you about our setup. So he primarily plays on PC. Um, so he's usually like on his PC with his monitor and in the living room, and I have the TV like next to his desk, and I like to play on the couch. Like I'm a big
Yeah.
TV console type of gamer. So a lot of our quality time is spent that way of like we're existing in the same space and we're enjoying each other's presence and hanging
Love
out,
that.
but I'm in my shit and he's in his, and we're just having a great time. He's a big multiplayer guy. He has a group of friends that he always plays stuff with, but I'll give you an example with the RPG stuff. He's total opposite. He's all in on the Western, like Kingdom Come Deliverance, Witcher, Fallout, like that's his jam. So sometimes he looks at my games and I'm like, don't you judge me.
Right. Look at this weeaboo shit.
Right? So we do have some things that we play together. We did play It Takes Two, and I
I was just about to
actually,
ask.
yeah. Um, I know it's not co-op, but we do have a plan. I bought First Light 007, and he wants to play it
So
like
good.
together. So I take the
Please do.
controller for a
I
bit.
would
He
love to
takes
hear
it
your
for a
thoughts
bit.
on that.
Yeah, I'm super excited. And it looks fantastic, like visually. It's just a gorgeous game.
Oh, yeah, I just got my platinum in it.
Oh, wow. How
It's
long did that
so
take you?
honestly, it's not a hard platinum. It's 90% just collectible based
Okay.
trophies. There's a couple like miscellaneous combat stuff, but most of that is you can just do naturally.
Hmm.
And then it has a super robust checkpoint system, and you can reload at any checkpoint of any stage. So you can
Ooh.
like if you find like a trophy guide, like if you're trying to get them all, you can literally know exactly what checkpoint to go to, so you're not wasting your time replaying these levels, because the acts are very long. And so I really appreciated it about it, because I would find like I was missing like a couple of collectibles. Finally was like, okay, I already beat the game. I did everything. I thought I searched everything I could. Now let me go find these missing ones. And being able to jump right back where I needed to go was so
Oh, that's
delightful. Great
excellent.
quality of life option. But you're going to love it. That game is fantastic.
Is that your game of the year?
It is currently in my top 3. Yes.
What are the other two?
So my other two, one is Replaced.
Okay.
It's a indie pixel art, uh, like sci-fi, cyberpunk noir, Blade Runner style game. It's incredible. One of the It's got Batman Arkham style combat, but on a 2D plane, and the story it tells and just the presentation and the way it shows itself is just incredible. I can't. Oh, I love it so much. I can't. I love it. I want more people to know that game, and it's constantly just doomed to never hit mainstream, and it makes me sad. And then the
Oh,
other one, it's either a toss up between Capcom's Pragmata or Mina the Hollower.
nice.
So, and then there, I already have like, let me see, I have my list. Every time I play and beat a game, I put it on my list so I don't forget. It's really hard. It's easy to forget what you play in
Oh,
February by the
absolutely.
time you're trying to remember your top games, because I'm old and my brain goes away sometimes. One of my games I really enjoyed this year came from your people,
Ooh, which one?
Love Eternal.
Hell yeah. I love
I'm not
that.
a fan of the ending. Um, it ended so abruptly. I thought my game glitched,
Oh no.
so I replayed the entire game again,
But
thinking
like make sure.
to make sure. And then it happened. I'm like, I guess that's where it's ending. And then I went online and was like, what does the ending mean? Like, am I missing something? And but I love the Celeste style platforming. It was so satisfying. I got to the point where the second time I played it, I got through the entire game in like an hour.
Heck yeah. That's awesome. Is there anything for the rest of the year that you think would either take your top spot or
Final
get
Fantasy Resonance.
okay. Yeah. I mean it's
Final
Fire
Fan
Emblem for me, so
That's fine. It's Final Fantasy Resonance. It's there's a bunch, because I was at Summer Game Fest for the first time and I got to play a bunch of these games coming out. So I now know there's a lot I'm excited about. There's Animusha is really good. Control Resonant is really good, but Final Fantasy Resonance is everything. Final Fantasy 6 is my favorite. Give me classic pixel art Square Enix games any day, and now we're getting like a not. I understand it's a revamp of a mobile game, but I don't even care because I have nothing against mobile games.
I
So
don't
I'm
think
fine.
anybody playing like would know that either. Like,
Right. If they
you
didn't
know?
say it, like this is loosely based off Brave Exvius, but I'm just so excited. Look, the presentation looks so slick. I'm loving the combat, everything we've seen. I like the guest characters as summonables.
Yeah.
It's so fun. I love it, and I I feel like it's cool to hate on GTA 6, but I'm just ambivalent towards it. Like I'm gonna
Mm,
play it because I've played every GTA's campaign. I won't touch online. I've never once touched
yeah.
GTA 5 online, but I played through the story and I liked it. I liked because they put a lot of work into their campaign and their story, even though we all know where the money's coming from. So I will play the story, but it's
I'll
not.
play it as well. I don't know that I'm going to play it at launch. I might
It
wait
depends
a
on what I'm
while.
currently playing. Yeah.
Yeah, and I'm gonna like in terms of my personal preference, like I'm not gonna put down Fire Emblem for GTA 6. Like
No,
that's
no,
just
that's the
me
thing, right?
personally.
Like if I'm 100% done Final Fantasy Resonance, sure, I'll give it a shot. But like, yeah, I every game tried to avoid GTA 6,
Yeah.
and in doing so has just made it really hard for me to play. Oh, that's another one I'm really excited about, Wolverine.
Yeah.
I really like Insomniac's take on games. Spider-Man 1 and 2 were really good. I'm excited about the new Castlevania game, Belmont's
Ooh,
Curse.
that one looks good too.
I don't know. There's a lot of games coming out this year that are going to be fighting for my top 10 spots, but those three I've mentioned to you already, I highly doubt they ever get um, knocked out, so to speak.
Yeah, and the thing with GTA, for me, I did not play every single one. Like I played San Andreas and I played Vice City. So me going into
Okay.
six
Oh, that's a
is
big jump.
yeah. Me going
That's going
into
to be
six,
crazy.
it's like part nostalgia for Vice City, but the other side of it is I live here. So I'm
Right?
so curious to see how much they get like one for one because what I've seen from the trailers so far, it's not an exaggeration. Like a lot of the crazy stuff that you see in those trailers, I can point to you, oh, that was
Yeah.
on that road. That was on this street. Like, so I'm very excited from that perspective of just being a local and seeing how much they do. That's like one for one, South Florida.
Yep. It's I'm very excited to see, like, is there going to be a quest where you have to find Florida Man? I would love a side quest from some NPC being like, I need you to get pictures of this elusive Florida man. I don't know. It's going to be dumb.
It's, I think the most interesting part too is going to be seeing people react to those in-game stories and knowing like that's Florida. That's just a Tuesday over here. Like you seeing an alligator go into a gas station, like that's a Tuesday. You
Yep.
know what I mean?
We have an alligator to work and we have to constantly remind people, please don't feed it.
Oh my gosh.
It's not going to go well for you. But yeah. Oh, first of all, thank you so much for talking to me. I can't, like, 1 hour flew by. That
I
is wild.
know.
That's crazy. But is there anything, like, where can people follow you or your games? Like, is there anything last minute you want to shout out?
Yeah, so I mean, thank you for having me. It was so nice to have a full hour to chat because we certainly don't get that time at the shows, but I always look forward to seeing you out there. I always say it's not a PAX unless I see you. So
Oh, right back at you. That's why you
thank
have to
you
go to
again
PAX
for having
West.
me.
You're
I
welcome.
know I want to. But yeah, I'm the only socials I'm really on right now. Honestly, is Blue Sky. So I would just say I'm on there if anybody wants to follow at Skyward Siren. Um, but yeah, otherwise, in terms of games, if you're into asymmetrical horror and Halloween, that's probably my closest game that's right around the corner. So I would invite folks to check that out in September.
Oh yeah, what a corporate shill you are. Oh, it's embarrassing. Jeez. That's awesome. Thank you so much for your time. I appreciate you.
Thank
And you have
you.
a lovely rest of your day.
You too. Thank you so much.
You're welcome.